Good morning, Sunday morning. Good Sunday morning. Good Sunday morning. It is Sunday, and I'm on Eastern Standard Time, so it is 10 a.m. Let me see. Right, just give me a moment here. Got things I want to talk about, and I believe it's going. If you adhere to it, it'll help us, and sometimes it'll just help us to understand the what you're experiencing, what you have experienced. Go ahead and go over to my YouTube channel. I'm on both platforms right now. Go to my YouTube channel if you're on my Facebook page. Go to my YouTube channel, Battles and Journeys. Um, I don't have this on the other platforms, but I'm working on something. And it's Sunday morning. Some of you probably is doing your religious things that you do on Sunday. They often say that Sunday is the most divided day of the week, um, where everybody come together or everybody going to their separate places, being taught something and whatever. They said it's the most divided day of the week. However, though, I am happy to be alive. I am great. I am excited about the next phase of my life. I'm excited about what's next. I am looking forward to progress in every area of my life. As I often say, I love the life that I live, and I live the life that I love. And if you don't love the life that you live, then you need to change the channel. It's simple as like having a remote control. You get to change the channel. You get to see how you view your life. You get to see all of that. So it's possible for you to make those changes according to how you want to view your life, and we can't see our lives through the life of other people. I mean, it's okay to let the life of other people encourage you. It encourages us and to do better, right? When you become jealous of how a person live, then you're now in competition, or you're not encouraged by their progress in life. You, whatever that feels, whatever that looks like to you. I don't know what that's like. Honest to God, I do not know what it's like to be envious or jealous of people. It is not anything I've ever had to deal with. I mean, to experience on my own. I always want to see people win. And if people are winning, I clap for them because it may not be my time or turn to experience the things that I want to experience. But I believe if I clap for you and push you and be happy for you and excited for you, it opens up portals for me to receive the things that I have been hoping for and the things that I've been working towards. So there's no room for jealousy. There's no room for hate. There's no room for envious. There's no room to be malicious. So I'm just I want to share something because it's important, and I think a lot of us go through. Um, Most of us, well, everybody. I think everybody have their family disparities, their family issues. If you're going to live in this life, you're going to have some some issues. You're going to have life issues. Sometimes life. Life is lifing, and it's okay because there's a law that says what goes up must come down. If there's a beginning of a thing, there definitely will be an end to it. So just hold on, just get through this process. I think it's important how we go through something. Um, we the attitude that we have when we go through something. Are we going to go through it complaining? Are we going to go through it feeling depressed? Sometimes things happen to make us feel depressed, but how do you come out of your depression? How do you come out of your not understanding why you're going through what you're going through? And I entitled this video, whether you're on my YouTube channel, Battles and Journeys, or you on my Facebook page, I entitled this Family Feud Part 2. And it talks about siblings and relatives and the like, those that we love. Sometimes it's not the blood that is considered your family. Blood just makes us kin. It makes us relatives. We're related somehow through blood, but a family is a different type of structure, and a family comes with a different type of behavior. It is not to say that we don't have disagreements. It is not to say we don't have life issues. It is family says, let's see how we're going to come together and we're going to solve this issue. It is not, let's see how combative I can be. Let's see who I can get to feel the way I feel, right? So some of you have seen my story. I have a lot of stories. I've always had a lot of stories, and I've not always talked about them. And sometimes people stray away from talking about their family situations because we were taught what goes on in this house stays in this house. We're not going to talk about it. And I'm telling you, that has hurt us more than anything, because not talking about it does not make it go away. We're just not going to talk about it. So if you don't talk about it, you're holding it in. It's a build up. And so when you see people start lashing out, it's simply because there has been this huge build up from this fairy tale teaching. We don't talk about what goes on in the family. And I think it's important you should talk about it. How you talk about it is one thing, because sometimes depends on when we talk about it. We can talk about it from a very frustrating place, and sometimes we could talk about it from a place of anger. I've seen people talk about it from a place of anger. I am a person that um, I don't want to do anything I need to apologize for. So I really try to think things out and process it before I say it. But there are times that I would have to come back and retract, like I did on a recent video, because I saw that something was injurious. It was the truth, though, of what I said, but it was injurious to the relative, because for some reason we don't think. How do I say this? Sometimes, now we know family is not perfect. We do know that family is not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. They're not perfect. But how you approach a thing is very important, and what is your mode of what is your intent? What place is this coming from? When you start talking about something, what place are you talking about it from? Now, today I'm in a different space. Uh, One day I was just in a place of, you know what, I'm tired of holding back. Let me just get this out. And I did. And now I'm talking about it from another place because I want to help us. I want us to be helped, because all family members, well, um, all relatives are not family. I gotta say that. Just because we share the same blood, you share the same blood, y'all come from the same parent or parents, it doesn't really make you family. It makes you relatives. And this is why sometimes it could be frustrating, and you don't understand why this person is doing that. We family. Why this person did this to me? We family. It's not the case. Um, it's just your relatives, because family protects, family shields, family provides, family is a structure, is a support structure. I believe family was made to be the strongest institution. Family was the first institution that God made. It's supposed to be a strong institution, but I want you to know that just because you share a parent or parents, people go their separate ways. A lot of people are just relatives, and they are not family, because if family is supposed to support, provide, instruct, protect, build up, and that's not happening with those that you share the same blood with, I know this might be a hard blow. They're not family. They're not. They don't have the family attributes. They are kin people. They are relatives. They're related somehow through blood. But all that other stuff, all the other characteristics I just named, they don't have it. And for whatever reason. And you would think because You ate at the same table. You were parented by the same parent or parents. You were instructed. You all had the same instructions. We all was given the same instructions, but it depends on how each individual digested and perceived it, and how much they developed from that, or not developed from it, or they heard it but they didn't listen. Because listening, saying that I'm going to acquiesce, I'm going to apply this to my life, make it a life application. And there are people who have heard a lot of instructions, a lot of good things, but they did not make it applicable to their lives. This is why they are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and they have not matured. They have gotten older, but they are not matured, and they haven't developed, which in our terminology is that speaks up. This is not a negative. I'm not saying this in a negative way. That speaks up. We call that retardation, because you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not developing. If the system says if you don't grow and you're not developing, you're not learning, then you're stunted in your growth, you're dwarfed in your mind, you're dwarfed in your growth. And then ultimately they call that their retardation. It's retarded, right? And that's not a negative thing. It's just really saying that person is no longer growing, and they didn't develop. They got older, but stayed in a childhood state of mind. They stayed in that frame of mind. They never developed here. There was some underdevelopment. So, yeah. So I entitled this, and I always get inspired early mornings, because mornings is my time. I am up early mornings. I have been like this for most of my life, even when living with our grandmother, Rebecca Welch Taylor. We were up early in the mornings, and then as I got older, I would use morning times for my prayer meditation, and I still do that. Morning times is my best time. I operate better. I'm at my highest level 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. By noontime, I have accomplished more from that time to noon than most people accomplish in a day, or a lot of people accomplish in a day, because that is my time that I am at my highest and I'm at my best. And that is the time I use for prayer, meditation, reading, and growing. So, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I am awake. Regardless of what time I went to bed, I can go to bed at 12 o'clock. But between those hours, I am up, and I have lived like this for many, 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 many moons. And I don't know if that'll ever change, because that's just my routine. All right, so some of you saw some of the things that's been going on. Yeah, I've been. Listen, our family is in a like no other family. I mean, it's like any other family. You will always find, you're gonna have one or two, at least one, most of the time. And you may not talk about it. And sometimes people are reluctant to talking about what they experience. But I want this to be used for the betterment of those that are watching this. I want you to grow through this, and I want you to also know that the end of your end game may not look like you want it to look. But I want you to get to a place. We have to get to a place that we have peace about where we are. Sometimes people want to, at the end, they want to go back to be glued together like they were before. But I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, that does not happen. It's like a broken bone. If you break a bone, yes, it's going to heal, hopefully. And sometimes the doctor has to re-break it and reset it so it can heal properly. But it would never go back to that unbroken state. You can take a lot of things from me. I can take a lot of things from you. But what you can't take, what nobody can take from us, is our experience, because we've already had that experience. If you've ever had a broken bone, yeah, you healed, but it'll never go back to the state of being unbroken again. It's been broken. You say, I had a broken bone. Now, before your bones was broken, you couldn't say that. You can't say I had a broken bone. It's just, I've never had any bones to be broken. So it's like relationships. Once certain lines have been crossed, once certain covenants have been broken, once certain things have been um, destroyed, yeah, you can heal, but it'll never go back to its original state. It'll never go back to its original relationship. When you go and get into a relationship and somebody cross lines and there's so distrust, and because somebody went out, maybe infidelity, yeah, you can come back and heal, you can reconcile, but it'll never go back to that unbroken state again. You're healing, you've mended, but mending does not mean it's unbroken. It is something, when you mend something, that means something has been added to, or something has been broken and it's coming back together. It's healed. But where we make the mistake is we want it to go back to its original state of being. And so we struggle with it. And why can't you just stay this? Why can't we have what we had? Because you had it already. You're not going to have that anymore. You can have something, but you're not going to have that anymore. Once there has been distrust, it's not that you can't trust again, but that trust never goes back to the same place it was before it was violated. So there are family members that have crossed lines, they have crossed levels of distrust. They have your family, my family, everybody's family. They've done so much damage until you can heal. Until, listen, they've done so much damage until it'll never go back to how it's. All right, let me just say it like this. You was once a virgin. Somebody broke that hymen. They went deep, deep, deep down in your soul, deep, deep, deep down in your soul, and they broke that hymen. That hymen will never go back to its unbroken stage again. You're no longer a virgin, right? Now you might heal, and you might draw up, but you'll never be a virgin again, right? So you can't go back and say, oh, I'm going back to being a virgin. No, you've stopped doing what you were doing, whatever that is, or whatever that was. You can never go back to being a virgin once that hymen has been broken for the women and men. Once we've had that experience, you can't go back to how it was. You can stop doing what you're doing so that you can heal, but you'll never go back to that unbroken state again, right? So there are people in our families that have crossed certain lines. And the thing about family or kinship, because again, just because you share the same blood, same parent, or same parents, doesn't necessarily make you family. It does make you related in somehow. But family, I've already given you the attributes of family. If you don't have that, you just have kinship, and you're just related. But there are some people in our lives, in our family, that have crossed certain lines. They've gone too far. There's a such thing as going too far. And when you go too far, you can't uncross what you've already crossed, right? You can't uncross that. There's some things you could do. People are let it ride. You can go back, correct it. But then there are other places you can hit in life where when you have pushed that envelope too far, you've gone too far. When you've gone too far, you've gone too far. And you can't uncross that, right? So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with family members that have gone too far? How do you deal with family members that keep repeating the same offense? How do you deal with those family members or those relatives? Because if you say to a person, what you're doing is hurting me, and they don't stop doing it, and you keep telling them what you're doing to me is hurting me, or they could see the pain and they don't stop, they are intentional about hurting you. You can't stay in that environment. It's toxic. It's it's a demeaning um, it's a demeaning I'm lost for words, but they're demeaning, their stance. They want to hurt you. There's some people who want to. I got people in my family, in my, I got relatives. Let's say this: they enjoy seeing people hurt. They sit back and they laugh at people's downfall. They sit back and they're waiting and watching for you to hit rock bottom so they can talk about it and say, "See, I told you." See, and they laugh about it. There are people in your life, in your bloodline, that they want harm to come to you. That's not family. They are relatives because you're related by blood, but that's not family. And you have to be able to recognize what's family, and who's related. You got to be able to recognize that. And then you handle that accordingly. Now, it may take you a minute, it might take you a while because you're not accustomed to this. You grew up with these people. You've never seen them respond or do the things that they're doing. But again, everybody's not developing. Some people they just got older, but they remain juvenistic in their ways. They are juveniles. They are dwarfed in their mindset. And yes, I have to say some of it is mental illness. Some of it. But place you can't you can't name everything mental illness when these people are damnable, they're damaging, uh, they are plotting. A lot of it is mental illness, but let's call it what it is. A lot of it is jealousy, it is hate, it is it is evil. They have evil in their hearts. I don't care how you dress up evil, you just have dressed up evil. I don't care how they smile and try to come gentle. You have a smiling, gentle, evil person. Some people are just evil. They are wicked. They are dark in their heart. And you are sitting there banging your head against the wall trying to figure out. But these are the people I played with. These are the people that I sat and ate with. These are the people that I poured my heart out to. You better know the difference. You have to know the difference. Having my coffee and sea moss. Um, so we have to know the difference, and there's a way that you deal with people that you were once close to, so you don't return back to that. When you cut certain ties, you just have to cut them and leave them where they are, and then don't try to go back and make it like it was. You don't go back and make it like it was because it can't go back to how it was because too many violations, too many crossing the lines, too many, you don't push the envelope too far. Now you have to enjoy and be content with where y'all are. You have to be content with the relationship or the friendship or the camaraderie that you have. It'll never go back to how it was. Some people I'll never go back to eat with. I'm talking relatives. I would never sit at the same table with. You can't sit at a table. It's been a scientific study. You can't sit at a table and eat with people who hate you, or that you hate or you dislike them, or you have this great disagreement and you have this thing, your food won't digest. Some of you wondering why you're sick because you're eating with the wrong people. You're trying to reconnect with the wrong people. They try to prove a point to the world's view of, we family. You are supposed to stick together as family. But when you start quarreling and biting each other, and you're gonna always have that one person. You're gonna have one person that's going to sow seeds of discord. Meaning you're gonna have that one person, at least one. Some of you got more than one. I got more than one that sow seeds of discord and always stirring in pots, and they're coming up with plots. They create their own narrative, and then they try to push them off on others to get them. It's called campaigning. They campaign against you. They call other people up, and they get around. They say certain things to see if you're gonna bite that bait. You know, uh, uh, to see how they do this to see if they can get you to team up with them. And a lot of the times, the people you're teaming up with is demoniacal. They're evil. They're dark, and you know they're dark in their hearts, but you still do it. People still do it. They still team up. So you always have that one person that don't like something about somebody else in the family, and then they start sowing lies and discord, and then they start repeating it, thinking that if they repeat it, it turns into truth. But I don't care how many times you repeat a lie. A lie is a lie. If you repeat it 100 times, you have just repeated a lie 100 times. There are people who will create their own narrative, their own story, and then they try to see if they can pull people in to believe them. See, and a lot of it comes from a place of hate, jealousy, bigotry, narcissism. Um, People in their ego, they mad about something, some childhood stuff that has grown up into their adulthood. If you're that person, go see about yourself. If what I'm describing now, and you're that person, and you hate somebody for no reason, or you're jealous, or you're insecure, or you hate them because you thought it should have been you doing A, B, C, or D, and but it wasn't you. So now you're gonna make war with everything and everybody. Go see about yourself. You already know you can't even sleep at night. You're too busy plotting, trying to see how you're going to bring a person down and try to make them fail. They're not going to fail. You're failing. You're the one that's failing because you're not sleeping, and it takes so much energy to sit up and try to figure out how much hate you're gonna throw out, and who you're gonna hate or dislike. Family is supposed to be a unit that sticks together. And when you have kin people that don't do that, they're just kin folks. They're not family. They're just there. And just because they're blood, it doesn't mean they're family. Sometimes those are the ones that will strike you. They're the ones sitting back waiting for your failures. They're the ones that sitting back waiting for something bad to happen. Because maybe they're jealous of the relationship that you've had with a parent, or you have with another sibling, and they don't like that because they want to be number one. You will always be number one, and because they always want to be number one. And when you always want to be number, just be the number. And so you have people that will dislike you, hate you within the family, what you thought was the family unit. And then you have, as you get older, you got to know how to cut certain ties, but love people at a distance. Love people. You don't have to eat with them to love them. You don't have to go out with them to love them. You don't have to be seen with them to try to prove your love. Sometimes people are just so toxic. We have family members, you have them, I have them. They are so toxic. You don't want to be in their presence. They're negative. They always have something negative to say. They always want to talk about downfalls. I'm just here to tell you. So I put up here Family Feud Part 2 because there's a feuding that goes on in all of our families, and sometimes it's quiet because people are reluctant to talk about what goes on within the family union. Listen, you know how much rape and incest that has gone on within family units, and we don't talk about it because what goes on in this house stays in this house. We ain't gonna talk about it to make them look bad. We're gonna just hush. But while you're hushing, you're not healing. While you're hushing, you're hurting. And there's a buildup. And then as you get older, there's this huge outburst and lashing out. You wonder why family are quarreling, because they could be quarreling with the person that molested them or raped them. Excuse me, raped them, because that's a word that you can't use, or graped them. That's the word I'm gonna use for that. They molestation, and it happened when they were younger, and so nobody talked about it, right? So we got a lot of family issues and family feud that goes on. And I'm telling you, it's always that one person that feel a certain way and they want to keep stuff going on in the family. And then they'll call other people up to see who they can get. They're campaigning, see who they can get on their side to hate you and feel the same way that they feel about it. Happens. My eldest brother was calling my niece, was calling other family members to see how he could woo them in to dislike me the way he dislikes me, and it didn't work. Now, when you find people like that, you have to just stay away from them. Pray for them. It's okay. You said they ain't gonna talk about it, we're just gonna pray for them. No, 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 no. You got to talk about it, because the stuff that I'm talking about now that's going on in my family, in your family, it's gonna help other people navigate through what they are experiencing right this very moment. You got to know how to navigate. If you always hush, hush, hush about it, and you don't talk, and some of you would say, "I just talk to God." Mm-mm. Listen, it's okay. Talk to God, but you need to talk to somebody. You need to get it out. You need to share your testimony of your experience so it can help other people. Because not only you nor I are going through the same thing. There are people going through the same stuff all over the world. I used to see people fighting over stuff after their loved ones died, and they arguing over who's gonna get this. And I like, how could this be? Like, well, if you don't put it in writing, we're certainly not doing no fighting. And parents, y'all put y'all stuff in writing. You could say all day long what you want, but if you don't put it in writing, and when you leave out of here and take your last breath and say your last goodbye, these siblings are going to your children, a lot of them, not all of them, they're gonna be fighting over stuff. But if we fight over our parents, if we had fought over our parents to take care of them as much as we fight over the stuff that they left, we would have done real good. Because you get people that come together to fight you over what a parent or parents have left for whoever. But if we had fought to come together and take care of the parents while were alive, listen, a parent wouldn't have to go out of here seeing y'all fighting. If you can come together to fight and sow seeds of discord, certainly you can come together and combine in unity and see what we're gonna do to help our parents and help. Well, hey, we're gonna take shifts. We're gonna go see about him. We're gonna go see about her. Listen, y'all go. You this week, you go and cook for mama. Next week, I'll cook for her. Next 1 week, you take her out. The next week, I'll take her out. That's no parent wants to see their children fighting over nothing. They want to see us get along because they watch their siblings fight over stuff in their own life. So they don't want to leave out of here in that kind of grief, you know? And be okay. Be okay with who your parents choose to do certain things. Be okay with that. Come together and see how you can support what your parents have put in place or your parent has put in place after they're gone. Don't sit up and fight over stuff. Listen, life is short. Be kind, live out your days in peace. And so uh I remember when our mother was alive, she was in the hospital in St. Augustine after her fall, because of the bone cancer had really deteriorated her femur. That is the longest and strongest bone in the body. And she fell. Lord, help me. And she failed, and she was in the hospital from that point on. And I remember her waking up asking for a certain one of her children. She said, "Well, where is this one?" Never showed up. Every day. What? Where's Roy? Didn't show up. Not in the hospital. And so parents don't want that. We should all be by, if they get to the point that they're in the hospital, we should all be in the hospital. Our parents or mother or father shouldn't be asking about, where is this child? Yeah, I know they're gonna put up a picture of because they did a photo op and went to the rehab center and took a picture of her in the bed, and they post that picture saying we was there, that was in rehab. But that whole hospital situation, and that was one time, that whole hospital situation, my mother constantly asked about one of her children and was never there. Those the children that are alive, listen, if y'all got parents and you got a parent of anybody that you love that's in the hospital, please show up. They showed up for you. I'm talking about good parents. I'm not talking about parents that threw you away when you were younger. Still love them. You can't have a relation. You can't have the same type of relationship with a person that threw you away. I get it. You can heal, but it's a different type of bond. I I know from I know our mother took care of all eight of us, and not she was always there for us. There shouldn't have never been a time when she woke up and started asking, "Well, why haven't I seen this one? And why haven't I seen that one? And why haven't I? Where is this one?" There should have never been those questions while she was laying in that hospital bed, right? And it breaks my heart to know that she had to leave out of here watching and knowing certain things took place before her death. Now, you could say, "Oh, dear, well, she's gone, she's in a better place, da 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 da." But the impact that it had on our lives, the traumatic experience, it was a lot seeing her transition, seeing a strong woman who raised eight children, seven boys and a girl, by herself, and then now seeing her not so strong, and now she need us because she was always there for us, and just to know that all of her children wasn't there. You see, if you have parents or a parent, I don't care how much they get on your nerves, be there. So when our mother was in the hospital for months, so to the point when she got back home, she couldn't even recognize her own house. That was hurtful. uh See, the people that are fighting now, they weren't there in that process. So they didn't get traumatized by much of anything because they weren't there through the traumatic experiences, right? And so I remember she had been gone to the hospital for so long until she got in her to her house. She didn't know her house. I would say, "Mama, you know where you are?" She was like, "No." I said, "This is your house." She was just looking. Now that was hurtful for me, but I had to make her remember. I did a certain thing to help her. And so we get out the vehicle, put her in the wheelchair, put her in the house, and I said, "This is your house." But she had been gone so long, she did not recognize her house. She was from hospital to rehab to the hospital, lights, doctors, had just hadn't seen her house in God knows how long. Right. And so I remember, and this is my story, right? I remember we got in the wheelchair. That was hard enough to see her in the wheelchair. My mother was always independent, but when you're dealing with broken bones and bone cancer, there's nothing left for you to do. And so we get in the house, roll in the house. My nephew was there, Vaughn. I said, and had a look. I rolled around a little bit. I said, um, "This is your house." It's not that she lost it. She was losing. My mother was on so much medication. Our mother was on so much medication. The other boys missed out on that though. So she said, "Here." She told, I believe it was either me or Vaughn. She said, "Here, push me to the door," because she liked looking outside. She liked being outside. She said, "Push me right here to this door." And she sat there for a while. She was fighting to remember. She sat there. She was looking across the street. She was looking around, and boom, it came back. She knew exactly where she was, but it took her a minute. See, all of those things were traumatizing. You see, and but she still remembered. She knew all of her children, and she still was asking about this one particular child. Where is Roy? Why isn't he here? Why she always had these questions, why he never showed up. Now, this is not to make him look bad, because I think he's already made himself look bad. But this is the oldest brother. How not the oldest sibling, the oldest brother, right? And so I'm saying all this to say, because this is where the fight, my family feud, is coming from. This one person that has sowed seeds of discord throughout our family, and only the weak ones fail for it. The ones that doesn't have their own mind, um, the ones that I would say spineless. Um, they have gotten into this, and they know the truth. They know the truth. So how do you deal with that? And I have to say this: I still struggle with inwardly, and I think I struggle with this part because these are the people that 8.5 years later, because our mother has been gone for 8.5 years. These are the people that are still fighting. But for the life of me, I could never understand it because I don't have that kind of heart. I don't have the kind of heart that some of my other siblings have. And I know the fight is with me. It is with me, but ultimately it hurt our mother, you know. So I have to be candid and open about this because I still struggle, even though our mother has been gone for 8.5 years. I still have a certain kind of feeling about something. And I try to deal with this the best way I know how. Even though I know she's gone, but the traumatic experience of my oldest brother having one of his daughters, whichever one it is, because when I asked them who did it, everybody was sitting there looking like a duck. And finally, somebody said it wasn't me after I called their name. Well, it wasn't me. Stop lying on me. I asked and nobody said it. It was one of you, but now I know who it is. I know. But how is it that your mother's oldest son, first of all, wouldn't show up, showed up one time for a photo op in the rehab center, photo op, that's it, um, would have his child to call our mother, who was in the hospital. Now, I want y'all to hear this because I want you to see where this is, why this has always been an issue with people that has to the for the children for those of us who loved our mother, not just in word but in deed. I I still struggle with this part because I can't even imagine having a child to do this to me, right? So here it is. Our mother was on life support in Gainesville. Now that day, she was they had to come back because they told me, they said, now if she stays on this too long, she's not going to ever come off of this. Well, I had to go that particular day. I left Gainesville that early morning. And I'm telling you this, and I know people don't like for me to talk about this, but I got to share with you why we're where we are and why I do what I do. Right? It is still painful to talk about it. I know it. I'm trying to see how to get there. So our mother was on life support. Now the people didn't know that because they weren't there. They didn't know she had this machine and it was helping to breathe, blase, blase. And I told her before I left the hospital, because I had to take care of some other business for her in a court with these same people that are fighting right now. It's unbelievable, 8.5 years later. Um, I said, now, Mama, when they pull you off of this, I want you to take deep breaths because I need you to come off of this machine. Because I knew if she stayed on much longer, according to the nurse, the doctor, she was never going to come off of life support. Never. And I sat there by her bedside throughout the night. I knew I had to go to court to fight on her behalf, on her behalf, her own children. The same people that's fighting right now are the same people that was fighting when she was alive. The same people that's causing chaos now within the family is the same person that's causing it now. I mean, it doesn't take any life out of me because I have so much peace inside. So some of the stuff that they do, I just laugh at. So that morning, I said, "Now, Mom, you're gonna have to take deep breaths because I want you to come off of this." And she looked at me. She shook her head, got the thing in her mouth. Well, I because I'm pepping her up. When they come, I said, "I'm not gonna be here because I got to go to court." She knew where I was going. It was on her behalf, and so um, that day, I believe it was a Wednesday. I went to court, and that was the day she had come off of life support because she did exactly what I told her to do. Right? She did exactly. Well, Juliana, my mother was not a bully. I mean, yes, I believe some of your parents were bullies. I don't have that testimony. I don't. But that day, we get off of. So we go to court. The judge says what she need to say to my brother, um, and it didn't pan out the way he wanted it to pan out. And I left the courts because I needed to go back to the hospital. But before then, I needed to stop by the house. Well, some other brother gave some information. I'm not going to go into the details of it right now. That'll be part of my book, though. Um, so it didn't pan out the way he wanted to pan out, right? This is the same eldest brother. Uh, and so after the courts, I had a brother to come over, a couple of brothers. They was, yeah, da 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 da. They wanted to hear it out, and seemed to be excited. And the same one that was saying, "Yeah, I'm glad," da 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 da, is the same one that's fighting with the brother now against me, and it's okay. Uh, but anyways, one of my brothers, Arthur, went over to the house on the corner, which belonged to the eldest brother, but his daughter was living there. And like he would normally, he went and got a little grill, the little grill that was in the yard, didn't think nothing of it, and started barbecuing. But to them, it was he was celebrating, what he considered as a win for on my mom's side. And so my eldest brother told his daughter, call the police. They put my brother Arthur in jail because of that. They were saying he stole the grill. Arthur's Arthur. I love my brother. I've always loved my brother. Uh, And so he went to jail. And when he went to jail, my oldest brother told his daughter, whichever one you were, because you identified it wasn't her now, 8.5 years later, when I asked before, there was nothing to be said. Only thing was asked was, well, how was she able to talk if she was on life support? Because she had just come off of life support. But told his daughter to call our mother in the hospital to tell her that her son, Arthur, was put in jail. Who does that? What child is going to tell his daughter to call his mother, who is in the hospital, because he's angry at this point? It didn't turn out the way he wanted it to turn out. To tell his daughter to call his mother to give her bad news in the hospital. I'm going to let that sit there for a second. And I still think about that sometimes. And it's traumatizing because I can't believe somebody would. It's like you wanted her to die. You wanted her to feel pain. You wanted her to stroke out. Maybe that's how. Did your ex-wife call it bad news while she was in the hospital? And she died. So I still wrestle with that sometimes. Because how could you? And so I asked my brother Leonard, I said, well, why would he do that? He said, well, you know them girls have to do what he said do, because if not, he'll cut them off. Because there's nobody could make me call somebody in the hospital to give them bad news. Nobody. So I get to the hospital, my mother, the nurse said, whoever she was on the phone with, we have never heard her cry out and holler out and her blood pressure shot up so high. We've never seen this. When I went back to the hospital, my mama said, why are they doing this to me? Why them girls calling me? Why they kept telling me? She said, I've done nothing. I've been nothing but kind to them. And to hear that in our mother's voice, the hurt, because she didn't understand why her eldest son was fighting her so hard. I mean, she knew, because she always said, he's just mad because I made you my power of attorney, and I'm the youngest. But what does that say about an individual who doesn't care about their mother, or mad because their parent made a decision about something that they didn't like? Now, it didn't harm them. It didn't harm her decision, didn't harm him. But when you are a narcissist and you think everything should be about you, some of you have experienced family quarrelings because of jealousy. Really, that's what it boils down to: jealousy, bigotry, narcissism. And I could talk about this because these are my experiences. And I've never been afraid. Like, I'm not afraid. I don't owe anybody anything. They don't. And I live with so much peace. Me and my brother Earl, we live with so much peace. We were protectors. I just don't understand how anybody couldn't protect their mother. And if I had a sibling, and I did lash out against this brother and those people when I found out this is what they did. Uh, I don't know how anybody could stand by, any child or any sibling could stand by and not correct any of that and not confront any of it, who couldn't protect. But I guess it's hard to protect people. I guess it's hard to stand up for people when you can't stand up for yourself. That's hard, I suppose. I don't know what that's like, though. Because I don't know how any of the siblings would stand back and say, and not say nothing, or didn't confront that sibling and say, you were wrong. That's my mother. That's our mama, but that's my mama. I gotta protect her. And you sit back and you let it happen. I don't know how any child, any sibling can let another sibling come and dog their mother out to them and then not say nothing. And then have the audacity to say, I ain't never heard nobody dog their mom out like that. And da da da. Because my question is, what did you say while he was saying it? So we all have these situations that happens in our families. How do you deal with that? I still, I still, I try to process it and come to a place that I can let it go. And I thought I let it go until these people show back up and it's like, man, you dogged our mama out. You called defects and said the house that she's in is not fitting to live in. And that's a lie. And the defects people come in and they call the name and said, we got a call from such and such. And then our mother have to hear that it is her child that's calling defects, not to protect her. I was concerned about, no, 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 because you didn't come to see her, but you did it to try to push her into a nursing home. At the end of the day, as one of my siblings said to me, well, he wasn't fighting mama. He was doing this against you. He was fighting you. Didn't matter. It affected her. And ultimately, we have to protect the people that we love. If you can't protect the people that you love, if you don't protect yourself, then you can't protect anybody else. So what you do is you pray, yeah, you learn how to forgive. There's a process, yeah. But then 99% of the time, you just got to stay away from people like that. It's not that you don't forgive them, but it's not that you haven't forgiven them. But I think it was Maya Angelou that said, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. That came from that heart. Everything that person did and is doing right now, stirring up, I just don't get it. High double digits, still acting juvenile, acting like a juvenile. I don't get it. But I have to say this: live in peace. I live in peace. I'm telling you, I live at peace, live in peace, and I don't have any regrets. And that's the good thing. You got parents, do what you're supposed to do for them. So when they leave, you don't have to live in regret. I had one. I wish I had. I stopped giving mama money because she was giving it to Arthur. Da, da, da. I wish I had still given it to her. I said, well, listen, it is what it is. Parents gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna give. I don't care. You can give them money. They're gonna turn around and give it to. Listen, our mother was a giver, and she wasn't. That's all I'm saying. She was a giver, and now you got regrets because you stopped doing it because another brother stopped doing it. I didn't stop giving my mama money. She could do whatever she wanted to do. I knew for her giving it gave her life. So you stay away from people like that. You leave them where they are. You pray for them, pray for yourself, constantly walk in forgiveness. And that's not always the easiest thing. And I'll come back to talk again. I didn't intend to talk this long. I got a flight to catch. I got to go. Y'all know I'm on the move. But I'm sharing this because I want you to see inside and it'll help you understand some things. So some of you are going through the same thing after your parents die. People start fighting, or while the parents are sick and dying, people are fighting. And when it all boils down to it, and you pull everybody together and ask why they're fighting, ain't nobody got answers. They're just fighting because it's an inner conversation they're having. They feeling a certain kind of way about a certain thing, and nobody can explain to you why they're swinging and hitting midair. They can't tell you why they fighting you, why they dislike you. They can't. Nothing you did to them. It's just something they feel inside of them, and you can't help. You can't. When people are wicked, they're just wicked. Nothing you can do about their wickedness. Because if you could change somebody, you could change yourself. You pray for people, but praying for them doesn't mean you have to be connected to them. And I do. I want y'all to enjoy the rest of your day because I'm going to enjoy my day. As I always do, I really do live the life that I love. and I love the life that I live. Take care of yourself. Feed yourself. Feeding is not just about the food you eat. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What's feeding your soul? What's feeding your spirit? Are you getting angry because of a conversation you have? If somebody comes around and start talking, you feel all these emotions and you get angry about something that has nothing to do with you, cut them off, because the what they're feeding you is toxic, it's poisonous. All right. I love y'all. Please have an amazing day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Let the rest of the week be the best of your week. Y'all take care of yourselves, okay?